Hello, hello, hello. I don't even know why I still say that, but I think it's a habit now. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing? Also, can everybody hear me? Is anybody out there? Oh my God, look at this straw, by the way. I'm drinking my my latte. Oh my God. By the way, it's like the biggest straw for the tiniest cup. How is everyone doing? But good, good. It's so nice to see everybody here. It's so nice to see everyone. Oh my God, it's been a wild week. I'm not gonna lie. It has been a wild week, and I'm really taking it one step at a time. And also it feels like a constant deja vu because obviously I've been here before, but I haven't been here in a long time. And so I'm like, and I've changed a lot in a year, you know? And so the whole thing is, I don't know. It's a lot. It is a lot. Oh, that's so sweet. You were heard. Oh, the H3 episode. Yeah, we're going to go into that a little bit before we jump into Tyler Perry. I've been wanting to cover Tyler Perry for, quite some time, actually, ever since the allegations against him became way more widespread and public. And I found the lawsuit to be extremely powerful in a lot of ways and extremely brave. And he came with some receipts. He came with conversations with Tyler Perry, and we all know it is so hard to come forward about this, right? And when someone comes forward about this is something I've been thinking about a lot, especially with some of the criticism against me in regards to the Drake Bell case. When someone comes forward about this, my biggest prayer is that people support the survivor coming forward. And why is that important? Well, first of all, it's important because we all know it's extremely hard. And there are so many obstacles that this individual is having to move their way through, or even had to move their way through to get to this point of coming forward. And other survivors, right, are then listening and looking at how a community is responding to someone coming forward. And it will have an impact on their own indecisions when it comes to coming forward. And one thing to make very, very clear that seemed to be cross-mingled due to Cat 10 barge is I am not for any harassment towards any survivor coming forward at all. I'm actually very much against it and always have been. Another thing, though, that I have learned along this journey in the last year is also any form of harassment, right, directed at any party can also put the survivor in danger because it ignites the other side of things to feel like they have to go stronger and harder about going up against the allegations about someone maybe they found beloved or someone that they think is innocent, on and on. And it can create an even more hostile environment for everybody involved. And so I had to really kind of look at even how I was approaching things because it's so easy. And the anger is usually a righteous one where you want to be like, yeah, like I want to go tell this person off and I want to make sure this person knows I don't support them. And I have so many things to say, but I realize that it's also really, really important to keep that survivor in mind, that even my participation in that can ignite a lot of other things, more attacks on the survivor. It creates a lot more aggressive conversations that could scare the survivor. And so this past year, I've been really thinking about that, just even our own participation in what we stand for and how we vocalize that, and how it's important maybe that we have good discussions about this and find right community to have these discussions, but maybe we don't involve ourselves too much here in this public aggressive dialogue. And it's just something I've been thinking about a lot. And I know maybe some people will disagree, and I'm not even saying that. I actually understand why someone wants to go and vocalize how they feel and they want to cancel this person and all of these things. It makes complete sense. At the same time, though, we do have to understand that our participation brings on also the other side. And it becomes all of this back and forth about, you know, what we think, what we feel, instead of just supporting that survivor coming forward and leading that pathway for them and just kind of rooting them on. Like, I want to see more like just the root on of like, go, 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 instead of participating in what this other side wants, which is this constant fight. And the fight is an awful one, especially though for the person who's actually involved. And so I've been trying to be more mindful of that and considerate of that and navigating my own ways of going about that. And I'm not going to be perfect at it, but I'm just trying to step into this new thought pattern for myself, and trying to lead by example in a lot of ways. And it's not that it's not okay to be angry or that you obviously don't stand for something like this, but how do we engage? And what do we want to see change? And what I want to see change is I want, when a survivor comes forward, I just want them to feel supported. And I don't want to argue with the other side of that. I want to just be like, I'm here for the survivor. Like, let's go. You know, let's go. I'm just here for that. And I actually am not going to even bother my time with you, really. And so that just makes me feel, it makes me feel good. And it makes me feel like I'm on the right side of things. And so anyways, before going into Tyler Perry, I do want to announce, even though I guess I announced in the photo on Instagram, and there's going to be a lot of upheaval about that for so many different reasons, because there's things that I don't even know about. You know, Ethan Klein has his own life, his own things going on. And I was on Ethan's show a while back, right before I launched Eat Predators, and I was still pregnant with baby Truth. And so the thing with Ethan Klein that I think is really important to take note of, and today I'm not going to be talking about Palestine and Israel. I think it will be, I don't have that much time today to go through everything. And so I feel like it will be better when this interview launches with Ethan and I to talk more about that and my feelings about that. But I do want to talk about something that's very connected to, obviously, my purpose. And that is obviously essay, right? And I know recently I've been getting messages about this Reddit scenario with Ethan Klein. And I just want to say really quickly, I don't know if anyone, what's his name? Mike Rife, Matt Rife. What was that comedian's name? I'm like, wait, what is his name? It's been way too long. And I really did not like that guy. What was it? Matt Rife, Mike Rife. Anyways, that Netflix guy who I did a whole episode about him creating comedy around DV And it was just awful. What was his name? Anyways, I do not condone comedy of any kind when it comes to very serious matters, okay? I do not. I do not condone that. I do not support that. That is not something that I personally stand for. But something that I do personally stand for, especially in the last year, and I'm also a mother, you know, now, and so a lot of my thoughts are starting to stem from being a mother. Oh yeah, Matt Rife, thank you so much, Shawnee. Are stemming from being a mother, and what I do stand for is people changing and allowing space for that. And I know that this Reddit, and listen, I know people can so easily, a troll mentality can be like, how I'm going to say this, then they're going to be like, oh, you're talking about like, what if ABUSE was 15 years ago or whatever. This is not the same. I'm saying when someone does something wrong and this individual, for example, is not a criminal, or not that I know of, and this person has not been convicted or even alleged to be a PDF file, right? If this person did something wrong or something that I don't personally agree with, I want to create space for change. Because change, the one thing that's constant in life is change. And I know that the person that I was 15 years ago is 100% not the person I am today. And even who I was a year ago, right? Even starting this video, it's not who I am today. It's just not. Sure, there's aspects of myself that I bring over from past versions of myself, you know, into this current self. But there are things that I've discarded, things that I have shedded in regards to myself. That there are things that I've done in my past, right? Like, just if I look back at being a teenager or whatever, you know, there's things that I look back that I don't even align with my past self, you know? There's even a post that someone brought up. I think it was Adam McIntyre who retweeted somebody who was in the lawsuit and who was harassing me endlessly, abuse of power. And it was this post that I posted where it was about people's bodies, right? And it was a while ago, and I'm not making an excuse for that. I'm just saying it was a while ago. And when I saw it brought up, like I didn't even delete it. I forgot that even existed, but I was reminded instantly about the past version of myself and my thought patterns at that time and the patriarchy and just so many different things. And I denounce that post of mine. You know, I denounce it. I don't support that past version of myself. And it's sad that I did that, that I even thought that was okay to post. And I was deeply sorry for that. And at the same time, I know that I wouldn't post that again. And I know that I'm not that person anymore. And I know better. I know better. And what was even harder to do was to forgive myself. You know, and be like, that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. You know, that's what's getting correlated with our past selves. It's like, you could have done something even what others consider bad, right? I know people consider that bad, but I know that I'm not bad. And accountability is a practice. And we're constantly growing into new versions of ourselves. And if we're not, that's when we're closer and closer to a death. And I want to keep living. I want to keep growing. I want to keep learning. And I want others to do the same. And I know for a fact I'm not going to ever be able to really, truly force people to change, right? You know, I can't force Ethan to change. That's not what this is about. But I can set an example and I can create space for that person to change and want that person to change and want even a person to be held accountable for their actions. But I'm learning more and more punishment and shame is not the best way of going about that. And that's because I don't want to do that also to myself. And I know how I respond personally. I mean, everyone here probably We all can be like, I don't want shame and punishment. The shame and punishment, it makes us feel like we can't move. And it's also very abusive. Or at least that's how I feel about it. It's very abusive. And it makes us freeze and makes us feel like we're stuck in something that we have no power over. And I don't believe that. I don't want to align myself with that. I want to believe that people can change and be better. And I want that for people. I want that for Ethan Klein. And I want that for every single person out there. And I don't think that makes me a bad person. I think that just makes me somebody who believes in the goodness of humanity and doesn't want to lose sight of that in the shittiness of it. And so, you know, when it comes to Ethan, like, I know that people are going to feel very charged by this and activated by this. And I just want to say, like, this community that now I'm currently rebuilding, I hope it's for people, or it's at least for me, for people who want change and to see change in people and the world and want to create change, not force it, but want it and dream about it and encourage it and like extend reaching hands for that to happen and in good faith. And we don't have to agree on everything. We really do not. And I don't want to, because I actually think it's a great practice to be able to not agree with something someone is saying, but see them regardless and their humanity and what got them there, and to never find ways to dehumanize a human being. And I feel like that's what causes so much horrific conflict everywhere, is the quick jump to dehumanization. And I don't want to dehumanize anybody. I don't even want to dehumanize my own abuser. I don't. I want to see that person as a human being, and I want to get justice, right? And I want to see that person be held accountable, but I never want to dehumanize them, because that's what he did to me. And I don't want that for nobody. I want to break that cycle of dehumanization. And it's really, really important to me. And this is the kind of community I'm trying to build. And if you don't agree with that, like, I completely understand. You know, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't force you to like me, and I can't force you to understand me. I can't do that at all. But this is a community for people who want change and embrace that and give grace when it comes to that topic. And if you don't agree with that, I truly, truly hope you find the community that is right for you. I do. And I think that's more important than me trying to make you understand me or make you understand why I'm here and, you know, force you to agree with me. Oh my God, there's a crazy fly in here, you guys. There's a crazy fly. The fly's hyped. The fly is hyped. But I hope you find the community that's right for you. And maybe mine isn't. And that's okay. That's okay. But I'm not going to change my mission. And I'm not going to change what I personally believe in and want to see in the world and want to transform or transcend. I'm not going to stop that mission. And you shouldn't stop your own. And I want the peace here. Not the peace that feels like it's avoiding topics that we need to speak about, but just the peace of seeing the humanity in one another and not losing sight of that. And so again, with Ethan's Reddit, I do not support that what happened on this Reddit 15 years ago. You know, I truly hope and pray, which I'm pretty positive, that Ethan would not do that again. And that we can also create that space for him to change and also disagree with him on certain topics and maybe agree with him here and there and allow that complexity to exist. And that Ethan doesn't dominate our own inner worlds. Don't give it too much power. You know, let's not give these people too much power. Let's stay focused on our own missions and what we want to see in the world. And let's not let anything stand in that way. Let's get hyped on the good cause and not get hyped about having to be right and make people feel that they're wrong or bad, you know? Let's not. And so that's the community. I want to make it clear, like, that I'm trying to rebuild this, and this is where I'm at. And I did sit down with Ethan, and obviously we have a topic to talk about here that does correlate. And there's there's a connection there when it comes to people and things that have happened. And listen, he let me talk. He let me talk about this issue that's really important and create space for that. And let me talk about what it's like to be a survivor. And I hope for him, in the same way that he allowed me to speak to his audience about an issue that's very important to me, that we can root for the goodness of this individual and want to see that prevail. And I'm not here to tear it down, even though I disagree sometimes with this person. It's okay. It's not going to change what I believe in, and it's not going to change what I personally stand for. And just because I understand someone or I respect what someone's saying doesn't mean that I always agree or align myself intellectually or even emotionally with that individual. So I know it's not the rah-rah that people were hoping for, of like, you know, it's not like we're just talking about this topic. And oh my God, by the way, guess what we found? I have to say this. So, or I didn't find it. The crew found it. And they were all very really kind people. We all, you know, ate pizza together, and everyone was very kind, and listened to one another. Anyways, main point is, though, they found a video. Does anyone know about this? They found a video of Adam McIntyre in a hotel room with Kat Tenbarge. And it's Adam McIntyre saying that what he's drinking is vodka, and I'm pretty sure it was Red Bull. And I'm pretty sure it was the same day as the incident with the fake ID. It was a jump scare for me personally, because I was like, what actually happened here? But this was on, I guess, Adam McIntyre's vlog many years back, and it was a video that he deleted. And Ethan and I end up watching this video, and it is wild, man. And I know that Adam was like, enough. I don't want Kat, connected to this. I'm listening to him. And then I see this video and I'm like, what? Man, what is going on exactly? Who is surprised? I feel like that's an open secret. Adam surrounds himself exclusively with adults who feel they can leech off of him in some way. Interesting. So I do encourage you all to watch the interview between Ethan and I, because I feel like it was a really powerful conversation, and I thought it was a very good one. And there's a reason why I went and spoke with him. And hopefully you see that when you watch the interview, instead of jumping to the conclusions of what that means for what I support or what I don't support. And everyone knows I'm free Palestine, right? Since the beginning. And that will never change about me. But I think it's also important to have conversations with people that don't necessarily say exactly what we want them to say, but that we give them space to say what they need to say. And maybe we can find even connections between that other person and us that we didn't think was possible if we just rejected them altogether or feel like they're disposable. And we can still learn things from people that we don't agree with. And I like that. And I want to continue that. But you have your free Palestine as well. Awesome. See? And so that doesn't change for me. Ethan is not somehow somebody who is inside, we're We're not the same person. We're two separate individuals who are having a conversation about something that has impacted us both, and creating space for change and talking about harassment online and talking about how these things impact our real worlds. And I think it's an important conversation to have. And not everything needs to be boxed up and clumped together in the way that hate wants us to do, right? You know, hate is the bait. Don't fall for it. Hate is the bait. You'll watch when does it come out? You know what? I don't know. I don't know if it's coming out tomorrow or if it's coming out. I think it's coming out maybe possibly tomorrow. So I'll keep you all posted on like my Instagram and let you know. And I will be going live once the interview is released so that we can, you know, cover that together and go through that together. So if anything comes up and you have a question about something, I'm right here to answer it. And I'm here. I'm here and I stand by what I'm doing, and I'm here. So I'll be live no matter what, and we can go over that interview, and we're going to do it together. We're going to do it together. Okay, so now Tyler frickin' Perry. And let's go back to like what, last year, where, you know, I spoke a lot about this topic, obviously, when it came to the entertainment industry and how so many survivors felt that they would lose their jobs, right? If they rejected an individual, right? And what that felt like for them and what that does to somebody and how that creates an unsafe environment. And what I'm seeing here with Tyler Perry is the allegations against him are very similar to that topic when it comes to the entertainment industry and these power dynamics, right? And his reported survivor did a sit-down interview with ABC going over what he's been through and kind of giving us background on, you know, what he is accusing Tyler Perry of. And I want to create space for him to talk about this. Obviously, it's ABC News. You know, this is going to be very, right? But I thought he was extremely brave for sitting down. And honestly, so composed. I would be just, he was just so composed, you know, talking about this and standing in his personal truth, right? And so let's watch it. Let's go over this interview. Obviously, there is a trigger warning here because we are watching an interview that is about allegations of SA. So if this is a very sensitive topic for you, I want you to be aware of that, and you can step out of this video now. You know, I just want to make everybody aware of that. And please be respectful in the chat because we are talking about a very serious topic. So let's watch this interview. Oh, and let me know, just give me a thumbs up that you can actually hear the computer this time.
Welcome back, everyone. Now to our ABC News exclusive. Tyler.
Oh, you guys. There you go. I'm not even showing you the video. I'm still getting used to this.
Welcome back, everyone. Now to our ABC News exclusive. Tyler Perry accuser Derek Dixon sits down in a TV interview for the first time, sharing allegations of workplace sexual assault.
And this is huge, by the way. You guys, like, I don't know if you remember, like, so many years ago, or if you, I don't know if anyone's ever read Ronan Farrow's book about this topic, but so many years ago, you know, these networks were being accused of, and Ronan Farrow goes into pretty great lengths to describe how it actually happened in regards to his reporting, but how they would get covered up because somebody would know somebody and someone didn't want to get on somebody's bad side. And this was common. Oh, good. Thumbs up. Okay. So, and this was common. And so, I don't know, I like to give a little bit of a shout out to how far we've come, where now a survivor, a reported survivor, someone who is accusing Tyler Perry, is able to get that space to speak about what happened to him. So just acknowledging that progress that we have all made.
and harassment. In June, he filed a $260 million lawsuit against the media mogul.
By the way, that is, $260 million. And let's talk about that. So sometimes that gets used. I'm sorry, I'm pausing so quickly, but I want to jump on this because I know I see, again, when we were talking about how the other side argues this, and then the people that are trying to support the survivor argue this. The side that isn't supporting the survivor is right away like, look at this is about money. This is about money. And they forget about even how the justice system works when it comes to punitive damages and what punitive damages means. And this is unrelated about his actual price here, but punitive damages is to make a statement, right, from the court where it's like, this is setting an example that this is not allowed. And not only is this individual going to get what they're asking for, what the damage is for them, but also to set an example. So some survivors, and he does talk about this, it's not just about the reparations. It's not just about the personal priceless, honestly, damages when it comes to a person's career and what they experience and their trauma and their therapy, but it's also setting an example for other people to not do this. Because look what can happen. And unfortunately, when it comes to accountability, how it is now and how it's been for a while due to colonialism, all these things, it's very punishment based. And unfortunately, individuals don't really feel anything unless it is a financial hit of some kind, where they're like, oh, I'm feeling this myself. So I just want to jump into that because I saw a lot of dialogue of like, oh, it's 260. That's a lot of money. And people forget how these lawsuits work in the public when it comes to a judge and punitive damages and what that means and how someone sets an example with this, right? So, all right, here we go.
Perry denies, but Dixon says he's speaking out now to try to stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves.
I love that line. He's trying to stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves. Ooh, that's good. Because it's clear. Because right away you also hear billionaire. So you feel the power dynamic, right? Like billionaire and then this person. And he's saying that nothing has stopped this person from allegedly doing these things. And what do? A survivor is always left with that. What can I do? What is going to make this person stop? What is going to make this person change? And it's a very heavy question for a survivor. And survivors get judged for that all the time. And it's not fair.
What made you decide to come forward with your story?
I wanted to speak out and not stay silent about it anymore.
Actor Derek Dixon sitting down for his first television interview since filing a $260 million lawsuit against me.
And see, ABC's really amplifying that $260 million, and good. It sends a message. This lawsuit will send a message to anyone who thinks about doing anything that Tyler Perry is being accused of. Right? It's never just even about Tyler Perry accusations. It's about other potential individuals out there that think that they can get away with something like this.
Mogul Tyler Perry, detailing the alleged sexual harassment and assaults he says he endured.
That's when you pushed me up against the wall and grabbed my ass again.
Dixon starred as Dale in Tyler Perry's BET series, The Oval.
Oh, you know how like brave you have to be to say that sentence on like national TV? I'm sorry, I'm just feeling it. I don't know if anyone else is feeling it in here. There's like a wonderful small bunch in here. But just, you know.
Yelling. I'm in this too, remember?
You're not in it. Did you get shot at?
No, I actually got shot.
He appeared in 85 episodes between 2021 and 2025.
Wow, 85 episodes he was in working with Tyler Perry. This person was his boss.
First time you ever met Tyler Perry?
Yeah, I met him at his studio opening party in 2019. I was working for an events company, and we met, and he said to me, are you an actor? And I said, well, not right now. I'm working on it, but not right now. And he said, yeah, you are. We need to talk.
Okay, so how this is being told to us here is that he wasn't even working for Tyler Perry at the time, but that Tyler Perry was basically going, hey, I could help you out. Thoughts?
You should get my number and we'll talk about this.
Did any of your initial interactions give you pause?
You know, a few of them were, did give me pause, but they weren't bad enough to think like this was...
right. And this is what, my own personal opinion when it comes to predatory behavior is it's not all, some are all at once from the beginning right away. It's boom, boom, boom. And then there are other types of predatory behavior where it's slow and gradual. And, you might even doubt yourself like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being a little judgmental about this person. Maybe this person's a little bit flawed and, maybe, this person likes me, is attracted to me, but I'm not attracted to them. And you're giving this person grace. You're giving the person grace and you're not trying to jump to conclusions. You don't want to. And then you got the power dynamic there, right? So you probably don't really want to jump to any conclusions. So yeah, and power to Dixon for sure. Such courage. I agree.
Situation in the beginning. Yeah.
According to your lawsuit, at one point early on, he bought you a car.
Yeah, he'd seen my
Oh my
Jeep,
God, wait,
around.
hold on. Tyler Perry bought him a car. See, now this is the gradual, and again, Tyler Perry denies these allegations, right? And this is what he is being accused of when we talk about this. But see this, it's a gradual, could be a gradual way of making somebody trust them. And we see it time and time again in a lot of other lawsuits and a lot of other survivors coming forward where they're trying to gain trust and be like, wow, I'm helping you out. Look how kind. And you might be like, oh my God, this person got me a car. Oh my God, the weirdness even maybe I probably felt from this person. I'm over. I shouldn't be thinking like that. This person is just trying to help me. Goes on. Understandable.
The studio that I was driving, and he said, that's not a great car.
Tyler Perry is an actor, producer, director, playwright, and prominent name in the entertainment space. He launched his career in the 1990s.
You want this half? You want this half?
Okay, Tyler Perry is huge, right? Tyler Perry is somebody who is apparently a billionaire. Powerful individual in Hollywood. Like beyond belief. Like that we all know, and we all know who Tyler Perry is, right? Like when you hear the name, you're like, I know who Tyler Perry is. Like Tyler Perry is a big freaking deal. That should be considered a fall from grace. I like that, actually.
His 2005 breakthrough film, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, debuted at #1 in the box office and was a massive success. To date, he's created 24 feature films, 20 stage plays, 17 television shows, and 2 New York Times best-selling books.
Wow.
In 2021, his prolific career earned him a spot in the exclusive Billionaires Club. His media empire.
Wow. I mean, Tyler Perry doesn't stop. Like he has done so many projects. He's an extremely successful individual. extremely. And I'm sure for so many who look up to Tyler Perry, right? What an inspiration. What an inspiration. When you're like, wow, this person has created so much, has created success out of what they love to do. So you can also, it's good to keep in mind like what Tyler Perry's impact has been on many different people.
Includes his own production company, Tyler Perry.
You're welcome. William.
Is based in Atlanta, one of the largest film studios in the country.
I'm not trying to do anything other than meet somebody at their humanity.
As his career has flourished, he's also made a name for himself in the philanthropic space.
So in early 2020, you land.
And see, that's another thing that I do want to talk about. That I think sometimes I even like saw this in like my people critiquing me even, where it's really easy to go, yeah, just because someone cares about humanity or cares about something deeply or wants, is saying they want to make a better world, doesn't mean that person is actively doing this in their personal life. So true, right? Like just because someone is doing X, Y, and Z or stating X, Y, and Z, they really have to show that through example in their own personal dynamics. And that stems back to even when it comes to social justice. We can sit here all day and go, we believe in this and we want to see this change and we want to end corruption and we want to see people not being dehumanized. But if we're not showing up in that exact same way in our personal dynamics and our personal lives, right? What does that say really about our understanding of what we believe in or what our morals are? It becomes just an idea, not a practice. And it's very profound to me in a lot of ways to think about that, because I know that's happened to everybody out there where you're like, I believe in this. I know I don't want to see people dehumanized and the whole thing. But then look at how we speak to one another online, or maybe how we treat someone close to us. And it really makes me want to say really quickly that first and foremost is our personal lives, right? If we really stand for something, we got to make sure that we are practicing that in our personal lives. Otherwise, it's just an idea, and ideas are wonderful and beautiful and want to keep them going. And we need to make sure that we're practicing it in every facet of our lives, or else they fall short. They fall short.
Of Dale on the Oval, was that a dream job?
It was, yeah. It was. To be a series regular on a show was something I always dreamed about.
Of
the
course.
complaint includes multiple screenshots of text messages.
For anybody, I'm sure anyone who doesn't even love acting, who never even thought about doing, acting in their, in their lives, this would be a dream, right? Being on a TV show with somebody who was extremely powerful, successful, and created projects that people watched and cared about.
Between Dixon and Perry.
Picture where he's on the jet ski.
This.
I said, nice picture. And he said, yeah, the water looks calm. And he said, nice picture. You don't see that stud in that picture? Rude. And I said, LOL.
Whoa, see that, the rude. Okay, here's my personal opinion there. So I'm going to read it. So Tyler Perry sends a photo of himself next to a jet ski. Okay. The water looks beautiful. This guy's on vacation. He sends it to somebody I'm assuming he was working with now at the time. And this individual gets this photo. Now imagine getting that photo. The first thing you're going to try to obviously be like, I'm going to respond. This is a person who I'm working with. And how do I respond? Obviously, the water. When you're not interested in somebody and this is not a consensual relationship, for example, you're going to be like, I'm going to talk about the water. And here he is, he's talking about the water. And he's talking about how the water looks calm. And then look at Tyler Perry's response here. Nice picture with all these question marks. Eek, eek, eek. It's already making me feel a type of way. Like, it makes you feel like, oh, did I not say it right? Did I not respond properly? Did I not say the right thing there? And then look, and then this person, I'm sorry, Dixon, look at how he then responds. He responds in all caps here. Great, amazing, awesome picture. So again, he's like not giving into maybe what Tyler Perry here is trying to create a conversation around, but he's trying to, in my opinion, like appease this individual and then go, oh, sorry, nice is not the right word. Great, amazing is, awesome is. Does that make you feel better? Did I do it right? And then you see Tyler Perry respond, you don't see that stud in that nice picture. Now, see, that says a lot to me personally. It shows that Tyler Perry is possibly not satisfied, even with, you know, Dixon saying it was a great, amazing photo. Wait, my husband is part of the Munchies? Wait, Miko, you do know that you are just part of the Munchies regardless. Like, Miko, that's so funny. Okay. But anyways, you see what he's saying here. And then he says rude. Tyler Perry then says rude. What's rude about a person saying that the photo's great, the water looks calm, man, great, amazing photo? This is somebody who's not trying to flirt with you, right? This is somebody who is setting kind of some distance there. And to me, if someone was responding like that, I would go, okay, this person obviously is not interested in me with like that. But yeah, let's talk about the water. I'm going to go into my vacation, and yeah, the water is freaking calm and it's wonderful, or like whatever. But he then says rude, and that puts this individual, in my personal opinion, as feeling like they did something wrong. You know, setting that distance, for example, made them feel like they did something wrong. And they feel like now they're rude, and they're rude to their boss. They're rude to somebody who there is a power dynamic there. This text exchange says a lot for me personally about how I feel about the dynamic. And then look how he responds. LOL, yes, that's a stud. So does he really, I wanted the chat to think about this for a second. Did he want to say that was a stud initially? Or does this feel, in your personal opinion, like coercion of some kind? Just curious.
Yes, that's a stud. And all these texts, I tried to de-escalate them and make a joke out of them.
Some of the messages more sexual.
Okay, let's look at these. I would hope that you would let someone hold you and, oh, okay, so he goes, oh my God. So this is like, it looks like this is like a friendship of some kind, obviously, also when it comes to them working together. And they're talking about something very vulnerable and personal for the reported survivor in this scenario. And Tyler is like, oh, you deserve someone to hold you and make love to you, and all of these things. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me, I hope you get past that block. So it's like getting very personal. The lines of professionalism seem to be a little bit blurred here. What's going on to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have you all found that yet in therapy? So they're having very personal conversations that far, exceed a professional one.
One of them says, what's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that in therapy yet? I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you.
Now, the complaint also...
That gradual thing. So, the question is, like, did Tyler Perry really want Derek to have this for himself? Or was he wanting to participate as that person? That's the question. Was he really encouraging him to find somebody that was good for him, etc.? Or was he trying to show that he was that person or wanted to be that person? That's the question here.
And in January of 2020, there was an escalation from the text messages to Tyler Perry's behavior becoming physical. Mm-hmm. Can you explain that first alleged incident?
Yes, we were over at his house. We're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters and said that you can sleep.
Yeah, see, this is a little bit of a problem for me personally. You know, I understand the entertainment industry is kind of this, how do I put this? A lot of artists, right? And it's not these men in suits in that sense where you're like, okay, this is a bunch of artistry, and what comes along with artistry, at least to maybe our memory and how it's been portrayed in cinema, in a lot of ways is, you know, kind of a rock and roll vibe where it's okay to drink, quote unquote, with, you know, somebody you're working with. It's okay to do these things, put them in your guest quarters, whatever, however you say it. And, you know, for me personally, as a thought, it's like, oh, how wonderful it would be to be safely, you know, hanging out with somebody, having a drink with them. But if there is a power dynamic there, right? If there is a power dynamic there and this person isn't wanting anything more than the professional dynamic plus maybe a friendship, you know, the conversation that can come along with knowing somebody who you're working with, you know, whatever, the lines can get, and it could be exploited and it could be taken advantage of. And there's too much room for something to go terribly wrong. Right? That's, you know, that's just my personal opinion there. Oh my God. Oh yes, I saw that.
You know, not driving and
wait, I saw someone say that the Boondocks predict how Tyler Perry was. I saw that. I did see that a while back, and I was like, this is trippy. What is this? It's like, you know, the Simpsons thing where we all go back to the Simpsons and we're like, the Simpsons knew all along. But I saw that. I definitely saw that.
It was far from Atlanta and where I was living, and I got into bed, and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well and started rubbing my leg. And I jumped up.
Whew. Okay.
Bed, and he has said, you know, turn around so I can look at you, and just commented on how I looked, and then he got up and left. So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of a relationship. It was very, very strange.
Okay, so he's saying here that Tyler Perry gets into the bed where he is about to go to sleep in. Again, this individual is their boss. He says that he touched him and then he quickly got up. And then he went to comment on how he looked. This is just making me deeply uncomfortable. Deeply uncomfortable.
I mean, I think it's okay that people try to make a move or shoot their shot, but if they get...
That is a really interesting thing that he said there, right? So if you meet somebody, you know, we even saw this like in the show The Office or whatever. And I'm not saying this actually should be in a work environment at all, but I'm saying what he's saying here is like, yeah, sure. Like making a move on somebody, right? Like seeing, like flirting with somebody, maybe beginning that and seeing if the person responds to that. And then if they don't respond to that, then you stop that. You know, this person is not interested in you. You back off, right? And again, though, I have a very hard time with allowing, though, that type of lenience when it comes to a work environment where the power dynamic, for example, it's not like this was Derek's co-star, that they got the job at the same time and they're in a very similar, you know, stage in their life and they're, you know what I mean. This is also, though, somebody's boss, right? And for me, you know, personally, to think about what he's saying here as an objective point of view, I still think that Tyler Perry making a move, allegedly, maybe that's, that's not the right thing to do, because the person is now put into a position where the first thought that's going to come to their mind is, if I make this person upset, this person I might lose my job, or I might lose something because of me rejecting that individual. So it's like, yes, I see what he's saying, and it's really beautiful that he's giving that grace there, but we have to be reminded that this is a work dynamic. This is a work environment in a lot of ways, and this individual was somebody who was above, professionally speaking here, above Derek Dixon.
I think that they should stop, and so I thought it would stop after that, and it didn't.
At the end of the second season, Dale gets shot in the chest 4 times.
Oh! Whoa! I'm sorry. After he jumps out of bed, allegedly, and shows that he's not interested in Tyler Perry this way, in the show, he gets shot multiple. What kind of message would that send? What kind of message would that send to someone like Derek Dixon? That is freaking, oh my God. Okay.
Why was that especially concerning for you?
What it meant to me was, if I don't make him happy, I could stay dead on the show.
And the complaint specifically says, and I just want
if I don't make him happy, I could stay DEAD on the show. Okay. I mean, if this all happened to me, and this happened where the SHOOTING happened to my character, I would possibly get that signal too. That's not a far reach at all. I don't think he's far reaching out, at all. Yes, Tyler Perry sued the Boondocks. Oh, wait, Tyler Perry sued the Boondocks once he found out they were planning on using his real name for that episode. Can someone, does anyone know the Reddit for ePredators? If you find anything in regards to this Tyler Perry individual, I would love to see that. So please share anything. And let's get that Reddit kind of up and going. If there's also something that you're wanting me to talk about that I'm not aware of or address, like please put this in the Reddit, because I'll start reading that and making sure I'm taking note of this. Yeah, totally. The message would be, I don't take rejection well. That's a nice way of putting that. William, that's a nice way of putting that. Yeah, that's for sure. For sure.
Mr. Perry made it clear to Mr. Dixon that he would kill off Mr. Dixon's character if he did not indulge Mr. Perry's sexual harassment. Was that message clear to you?
For me, that was his way of showing his power over us and our careers, and that he doesn't have a problem with just killing one of us off.
You're also a screenwriter.
Oh, that is just awful. Whew.
And had written a TV series called Losing It. Tell us about that.
He ended up wanting to read it, and I at first was like too embarrassed to even send to him, but he did, and he said he loved it and wanted to shoot the pilot for it.
Right, I hate this. Sorry. It's giving me God. It's giving me I see you. I see you and what you want to do, and I want to help that. After allegedly giving this example, if you don't let me help you, what could happen to you? And now it seems like it's just going further, where now this person has a project they would love to create, and Tyler Perry is now being like, I see, oh my God, this fly, you guys. I see you and I see what you're going, and I love it. And let me help. And it's kind of bringing me back to the car situation where that Jeep is not a good car. Let me get you a better car. And it's giving me power dynamic. It's giving me a very clear power dynamic that's going on. And it could put somebody in a very vulnerable position. It really, really could. It really, really could. And I just don't like when someone's creativity, for example, or someone's mind, you know, like something that someone has created, and a person who could possibly have alternative motives that's leading them to help that individual, right? Because it's kind of like Legally Blonde. Do you guys remember Legally Blonde? Where Elle, gotta love Elle, where when she's finally able to be part of this trial while she's in law school, she gets hit on, which is SH. I shouldn't say it like that, but you guys know what I mean. By the professor, by the person who put her in that position to be able to be part of this trial. It was only a few people selected. It made Elle feel like clearly that she was being picked for this because she deserved, and she did, that position. And then we find out, though, that this professor has these alternative motives when it comes to Elle Woods. And what does Elle Woods feel after that situation has happened? She feels like the only reason, this is why I don't like it. Because then it makes somebody feel that the only reason that that person selected them was because of their alternative motives. That's fucked, right? That's fucked. And that's what it feels. It's awful. And it's not because this person doesn't deserve to be in this position. It doesn't mean that Derek's script doesn't deserve to be seen and supported and financed or whatever, but it could do that. And that's why I don't like this feeling that I'm getting listening to this, is that it could do that to somebody. It makes somebody then afterwards go, well, what was that? Was it because he really actually read my script and liked my script? Or was it because this person was trying to do X, Y, and Z? And it just fucked, man. That's why it's really important when you're in these professional environments, you know, so to speak, that you're not objectifying individuals, so that when you are helping them and you are supporting them on their own personal inner worlds and their ambitions, that you are not tainting that. Right? Love Reese Witherspoon. Me too. Me freaking too. But that's why that's be better than that. Be better than that. That's just not good. I don't like anything. She wasn't seen as smart and was left out a lot in the movie. Yeah, and that I love Elle Woods. And she was so nice. I actually related to Elle so much when I was younger, like especially when she, you know, brought like the little basket and stuff with like and she wanted to be part of like the studying group, and they were just like, oh no, it's already full or whatever. And then like the guy who she's known forever, who she was like so nice to and has been very patient with how he's treated her, you know, doesn't say anything. Like I just related to that so much, and her kindness, right, was seen as a weakness. And her kindness, a lot of people, I think there's a lot of stereotypes especially in Hollywood, where kind people are kind of like dumb, like in the sense of like even Nicole, right? Nicole, I saw that a lot, where Nicole was so sweet. I mean, she was like the bestest friend of all time and was so good to everyone. Like that's what I loved about Nicole. And that was a part of me, you know, that I really saw in Nicole, or, you know, maybe me and Nicole are similar in that way, where she was just so sweet. But the only thing I don't like what Dan Schneider did there was that she was also not seen as smart and not that bright. And I don't like that, because I really think we need to see more representation of people being super kind, especially women, and that it's not a weakness, or it doesn't mean that they're, you know, these ditzy, dumb individuals. That kindness actually is actually intelligent. It's intelligent to be kind for so many reasons. It takes intelligence to be kind, because you have to like think about what is making you kind. That you want to see someone happy? I think that's extremely intelligent. Who doesn't want to see somebody happy, to make somebody happy, seen, loved, supported, whatever that is? I find it very intelligent. I know people say it's emotionally intelligent, but I think it's also just intelligent in general. I actually think being mean is not intelligent per se, because it doesn't make sense. Why would you, what makes sense, or how can you rationalize wanting someone to feel like shit? Look at this fly. This fly is still getting hyped. But, you know, I find it to be really intelligent to want to be nice to people and make them feel seen. I find it to be not so intelligent when you are wanting people to feel demeaned or feel dominated or feel less than. I don't find that real smart. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let's keep going.
June of 2021, another alleged incident that you outline in your lawsuit where you're, again, at Tyler Perry's home in Atlanta, and it ends up with you locking yourself in a bathroom.
Mm-hmm. We started out having drinks in the living room like we, you know, have done before, and it got to a point in the night where, you know, we were both kind of feeling drunk, and I remember we were walking back to the guest area where I've stayed before, and there was this...
Wait a second. He even went and allegedly hid in the bathroom to get away from this scenario? Oh my God.
Health monitor scale on the way. And I was like, what is that? And he said, well, you have to be in your underwear to measure, you know, whatever. So you should do it.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Oh, yeah, you know what this is? You got to take off your clothes to get on that thing that I have right there. What? What do you have that thing then? Wait, what is that thing? What's weird is that this is by the guest corridors, whatever, however you say it. I'm sorry, I never had one of those, okay? But why is that there, and what the hell is that? I wish I had Nicole as a friend. Sam, you know what? So did I. And then I met my friend Melanie, and let me tell you, that kind of changed my life. It kind of changed. Having a good friend is the best. And that's why, even though I'm like here virtually, I hope that, you know, I hope to influence that more in people, to be good friends. What is a good friend? Like, what does that mean? It's important. People need good friends, and it makes a difference on people's lives. It makes magic happen, actually.
Underwear down and
I want that for you too, Sam.
My ass, and I, you know, tried to stop him and pull back my underwear up, and he kind of grabbed my arms and said, no, it's okay. Just go with it. And I said, you know.
Oh! This is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. That's why I also was so upset with Adam McIntyre saying Alexa Nick, like, who wants to be someone's nightmare? We human beings, I saw some even comment like the world has seen enough nightmares. It's so true. Like, who wants to add a nightmare to someone's life? And like, this is such a nightmare scenario that he's describing. Like, it's freaking me out.
Stop, I don't want to be naked. I don't want this. And he was just like, no, I'm not going to hurt you, and just continued. And in that moment, unless someone's been through something where they have their control over their bodies taken away, you don't really understand the kind of feelings that you get in that moment. It was
I understand.
it was almost like every thought came through my head to run, to fight, to freeze. I didn't know what to do.
He says he de-escalated and distracted.
Understandable, Derek. Totally understandable. Makes complete sense to me.
Perry, and eventually locked himself alone in the guest house bathroom.
The day after that, he called several times, and I ended up getting afraid of what was going on the other side. So I picked up, and that's when he said, he was sorry.
Oh, the fear. And then, he's saying like, I didn't even want to answer this person's call, but then this person is like my boss, basically. And then like, what's going on over there? I don't want to be punished. Now I do got to answer. This is fucked.
Happened. He doesn't know why he did that, and that maybe he was self-sabotaging or something. And in the same call, he said, and don't worry, we're going to do your show.
In the lawsuit, you describe this as a calculated pursuit of you by Tyler Perry. There are also several times where he says to you, you have to make your no stronger. Mm-hmm. How did you respond to this, as it's described, calculated pursuit of you by Tyler Perry?
To me, that's just so insulting. And I reiterated, I said stop. I said it. I don't think that people ever get past.
So frustrating. I can only imagine. It's like, like this happened and how this happened. And then you hear this person being like, that's just, but also, this is typical.
Something like that happening to them.
Dixon tells us he last spoke to Perry in the spring of 2024 and left the show in September of that year.
What ultimately became of your pilot losing it?
Yeah, it hasn't gone anywhere. He still owns the rights to it.
No! Okay. One thing that I would say to Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry ain't here, right? I don't think maybe Tyler Perry is ever going to necessarily hear what I'm going to say. But let's just, for my own somatic reasons, I want to say this to Tyler Perry. Regardless of this all, man, definitely give him the rights back to his show, because this is that's messed up. Regardless, if this project of his, I think definitely the right thing to do would be to release that back to him at the very, very least. Is give that project back to him. I don't see any other way around it. And why do you want it? Why not release it? Why would you want to keep it? For what? It's not going to happen, especially now. Why not give it back to him? So now his own project is stifled. I mean, he can't even pursue his own project. That's just, it's giving me.
Well, I can't now go and sell it.
Then in January, the actor filed a complaint.
So then look at the potential money that he could have been making, right, with this project of his. So when we think also about that $200 million that, this lawsuit for the damages, et cetera, I mean, who knows how much his TV show could have made losing it, and what obviously that could have done for him. I mean, at the very least, give him his project back.
The EEOC, the federal agency responsible for protecting workers from discrimination.
In your response to your EEOC complaint, Tyler's representative said, among other things, Mr. Dixon's initial letter to TPS.
So here we go. So indeed, Mr. Dixon's initial letter to TPS about this matter demanded $42.5 million to buy his silence. Mr. Dixon likely believes filing these charges will encourage TPS and Mr. Perry to cave into. Okay, so they're basically saying that he's extorting them, right? So he's saying that he's extorting them.
Tyler Perry Studios about its matter demanded $42.5 million to buy his silence. They described your actions as
buy his silence. I don't really like that term. His legal team writing that. I don't even know if that's good optics, in my opinion, because to buy his silence makes you think the public is dumb. I don't think when someone is coming forward about something per se, right? And they have examples allegedly to show this type of dynamic. You know, this could it's more about reparations and what the damages are when it comes to something like this. And to me, when I'm looking at this complaint here, where it gets into his own personal show, right? Where he has his own show, and then Tyler Perry's like, we're going to do this show. I'm going to help you with this show. And then he is put into the situation where allegedly he feels like he can't say no to this person, or he's fearful of saying no to this person. And then he might lose his own personal project now. I mean, look at Tyler Perry. Hey, dude, you know, you're worth $1 billion, I guess, apparently. You're a billionaire. All on making your own projects. And here's Derek Dixon beginning his own personal career. A show that you apparently saw a lot of prospect in. And you saw there was potential success when it came to Derek Dixon's TV show. And what could have that led to for Derek? Maybe Derek could have been just like Tyler Perry minus these allegations, right? Maybe he could have ended up creating tons of projects and being extremely successful, but hopefully being ethical and respectful while doing it. And so for someone like Tyler Perry's legal team to make it about silence while they represent someone like Tyler Perry, who has made $1 billion off of their own personal career. And this individual is now saying their career was stifled or held back because of what they are saying has happened to them. I don't know if that's about silence. I don't know if that's good optics either, because the lawsuit is telling a story where this person's career feels like it has been held back. And then we're talking about a person like Tyler Perry, where when his career was not held back, look how much he has made, look what he was able to succeed in and what he was able to complete. So I find it, I don't like it. I don't like the language. The language is a little, that's not the best.
Portion. Were you looking for money to buy your silence?
No, I think I was looking for
I think he was also wanting his TV show to actually be made. I don't know. Like, are you wanting your silence? Like, also, this individual then has to come forward, and now he's going to be seen. Like, the silence isn't just about Tyler Perry here, right? The silence also is going to be about this individual, where if he comes forward, which he has now, is Tyler Perry's accuser. Blah, blah, blah. This person's extorting Tyler Perry. And now this person's reputation, regardless of your thoughts on Tyler Perry, has been harmed. So there's even almost, for survivors, it seems like there's even more damages that happen for them when they come forward. The damages pile on, actually, when a survivor comes forward. We see it. Survivors being harassed, etc. The damages start to pile on
to what he did. I think what he did was wrong, and it needed to be something that would deter him from doing this to somebody else.
Got it.
Another actor or.
So he's saying he's thinking in a punitive way, where he wants it to send a message that in hoping he does not do this again, right? What he's being accused of.
Sure.
What kind of a toll would you say that this is all taken on you?
I was extremely anxious. The calls got to a point where the calls and texts were almost every day. Just this constant state of like, if I don't answer, I will lose my job. I'll be fired. Killed off the show was. I mean, it took a.
Thank you so much. Is it Keon? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Thank you so much. And yeah, please give a little like to this video. Now I'm rebuilding. I'm not going to be in this algorithm. And unfortunately, I'm definitely not going to be in that algorithm if I'm not talking about the things that people want me to be talking about in regards to what's currently happening, like Adam McIntyre and all these people. And so to get back into this space that I really, really deeply care about, you know, it's going to be a little bit harder. So that I really appreciate that.
Toll on my anxiety and depression.
You're asking in your lawsuit for damages totaling $260 million. How did you arrive at that number?
Part of that number is my lost job, my lost income, the loss of the show. Mm-hmm. The other part of that is a deterrent for, you know, how do you stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves?
I think that's an excellent question. How do you stop a billionaire who won't stop themselves? It's a really great question.
From doing this.
How difficult has it been to tell your truth?
It's been hard. It's been hard. It's
Lilo the Stitch, can you please DM me that name so that I remember that? I see your comment there. Please send that to me so I remember.
It's a vulnerable thing to talk about, I think, for anybody. There's a lot of shame, I think, around it.
Of course.
And just trying to think what you could have done better and having to deal with the judgment of what, you know, everyone might think of how you could have handled it better.
Oh my God, I understand. That shame that he's talking about is very real for a lot of survivors. It's already a shame of like, did I do it right? Like in the sense of like, could I have done better to make this person understand, or whatever it is. The survivor always puts it upon themselves. And then you have the world now participating in that opinion and perspective. And it's one thing to feel that without anyone really saying that. And then it's another thing when like the whole world could possibly be saying, well, if I was in his position and I was working for Tyler Perry, I would have done it like this and I would have said that. Who the fuck knows, man, how you would do it in that situation. And we'll never know. And you will never know because you're not in that person's situation. And what actually is the point of that opinion? Oh, I'm so sorry. You would have handled it so much better. What does that matter? This person didn't want this, right? What this person is saying Tyler Perry has done to him, he's saying he didn't want it. I don't think anyone teaches you either exactly how to go about that. And I think stop and what he's saying here is like getting out of bed and all these different things. And even the text messages kind of show that dynamic of being like, no, I'm trying to look at the water. I don't want to be talking about you in that way. That is what we're told to do as people who are in these circumstances. Make it clear that you're not interested, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it seems like what he's saying here is that he did just that, and it didn't fly. And so, you know, I just always feel for survivors in these circumstances where you know people are going to come in and go, I know how I would have handled this. And it's like, I'm so sorry. What's the point of you exercising this? It happened. It happened. And now what do? We have to, as a community, support a person coming forward and not try to make them feel worse about what potentially happened to them. We don't need to, it's like that whole, I told you so. You know, when someone says that, you're like, you know, you're like, no, I don't want it. It's the worst. Like, I told you so. It just makes you feel it's shit. This is even worse than that. It's like, you actually are the reason you got harmed. I don't like that language regardless. Even if someone thinks that or whatever, and that's their own weird thing going on in there, expressing that, vocalizing that for the person who was potentially harmed here, to see that and what that reads to them and how that impacts their own coming forward or saying what happened to them is fucking not okay. Don't like that at all. It's shit. It's not the way that it should happen.
Without being in that situation.
Perry has not yet responded in court filings. In a statement to ABC News, his lawyer called Dixon a, quote, individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. And the
got close to Tyler Perry. How, Matthew Boyd? Matthew Boyd. How? How did this person get close to Tyler Perry? Was it how he stated it in his lawsuit, that he met him outside of a work environment and that Tyler Perry then helped him and got him a project and then got him a car and then allowed him to allegedly sleep in his guest's place on his own property or whatever? How did Derek Dixon get close to Tyler Perry, Mr. Boyd? Doesn't seem like you really go into detail with that. But Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. Well, I don't know. Like, the text message, though, is a little bit weird to me. Like, why is he wanting his employee to be calling him a stud? Like, how is that not even... And then calling it rude if he doesn't call him a stud, Matthew Boyd? I have some questions. I'm not gonna lie. And remember, like, right? These lawyers in these situations, sorry, I had to brush my hair. These lawyers in these situations, you know, they're getting paid to defend this individual. Fair. No personal feelings against Matthew Boyd. But I'm just saying, Matthew Boyd, I don't know who the crisis manager is when it comes to Tyler Perry and how you guys, you know, all talk to one another about strategizing, you know, dealing with something like this. But I don't like the avoidance of this person became close to this person. It really erases how that happened and the implications of that and the dynamic of that. It feels like it's a little bit avoidant for me personally. And then Tyler will not be shaken down these fabricated claims. But I do want to say, Matthew Boyd, like, what does Tyler feel about the text exchange? Because I haven't gone to the entire lawsuit, but we will at another time since we've been streaming for so long, and I don't want to go too long today. But I do want to ask, what does Tyler Perry feel about that text exchange between him and this individual? Sure, we don't see the whole conversation, but even in a whole conversation, this isolated moment does speak volumes. It really, really does. And I don't know if it's cherry picking. I don't know. It really just shows somebody who was offended or seemed to be offended with this person not calling him a stud and only talking about the water. And this person he's talking to is somebody who works for him. But I don't like this person became close to. Yeah, how?
Not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail.
If you were to talk to Tyler Perry right now, what would you say?
No, that's an awkward question.
I would say, I hope that...
I don't even know if I necessarily like that question, because I don't know if a survivor should, you know, a reported survivor should be put in a situation where they're feeling like they have to talk to the person again. What if they don't necessarily want to? That was a little bit, made me uncomfortable.
You take accountability for what happened, and I hope that this has taught you not to treat your employees this way and to never use someone's dream to coerce them into a relationship that's not professional.
What would justice look like for you?
What would justice look like for you?
Justice would look like thinking that I've made a change and that something like this won't happen to another actor that works for him or another actor in the industry. That would be justice for me.
Our thanks to Derek Dixon for the conversation.
Our thanks to him as well for that conversation. I found that conversation to be very inspiring and brave. And I also think what justice looks like for him is a beautiful thing. That he wants to make sure that what he has said has happened to him when it comes to Tyler Perry, that Tyler Perry doesn't do that again. That seems like a very fair at least intention when it comes to justice. And I want to say sometimes justice looks different for each survivor. And, you know, Dixon's might be different than another. But it is really about centering the person that was harmed or the person who is saying that they've been harmed and making sure that what it is that they want after what they have said they've experienced is something that feels like they can begin to move. I hate saying move forward because you never really move forward, but you understand what I mean. You understand what I mean. And survivors definitely deserve that. And so I do want to give a shout out to Derek Dixon and the bravery to come forward about what he is accusing Tyler Perry of. And I really hope that people remain just supportive of anybody coming forward in regards to something that is this sensitive, and that we don't get caught up in the fight of wanting to battle it out, and instead just keep paving that pathway for someone like Derek to feel safe to come forward. And that is really my prayer. Okay, well, how is everyone feeling after that? Today is not as hot in the studio, which has been wonderful. But I'm glad that we're beginning to cover this because it's ongoing, right? It's an ongoing lawsuit. We'll see where it ends up. Obviously, Tyler Perry, for example, is an extremely wealthy person, so he's going to have the funds for this to extend or to go. So I'm very curious to see how this lawsuit plays out, and I want to keep track of it. And if anyone sees any updates when it comes to the lawsuit against Tyler Perry, please send it over in the Reddit page for ePredators. I will be, keeping us updated on this. I do want to spend... Oh, so another thing, we're going to probably be doing like a members only streams. And I've been trying to think of like how I want to go about that, because a lot of really scary things happened when I was doing that, in the sense where it was just scary. And for me personally. And so now I'm like, how do I go about what I do want to have members only streams? And there's things that I think are important to just kind of have hangs about and talk about. And so I'm still figuring that out. So stay patient with me on that, because I'm trying to figure out exactly how to go about that. And if you have any suggestions on what that might look like for you when it comes to a members only stream, I would love to hear that, because the more ideas, the better, because I'm still kind of figuring that out on my own and would appreciate the participation. And Ricky Garcia, yeah, I mean, let me get around. Let me look at that for sure. I'll take a snapshot right now about Ricky Garcia. I'll take a snapshot and start looking into that. No problem. I know. I'm hoping that every survivor out there gets justice. And just to clarify, once again, that is something I deeply believe in. I want survivors to get justice, and I am rooting for them to get it. And that will not change about me, no matter what someone like Adam McIntyre likes to say. But okay, so we'll look into a little bit more of the lawsuit. I think maybe next week or something we can really read the whole lawsuit, because I kind of learned doing ePredators, where, I mean, obviously many times over, where obviously these articles and these short form interviews, for example, don't go into the entire lawsuit, and there's so much more to the entire lawsuit that's not getting press coverage, or we're not reading into. And so I want to go and really get into that lawsuit. And I really appreciated people getting into my lawsuit when it came to Cat 10 Barge, because to really understand these things, it's best not to get sound bites. It's really important to do your due diligence. And maybe that's finding a channel that does that for you and you can follow along, because who wants to read sometimes legal documents that are 40 plus pages, right? Like it's a lot. So finding pages that help other people get through those pages and discuss it and create commentary around it respectfully, I think is extremely, extremely important. So let's get into that. And I did see that something really intense happened today that is in the news. I don't know if anyone has seen it. I want to take a look really quickly. Is it what Charlie Kirk? What? Charlie Kirk. So there's, there's going to be some intense dialogue happening probably in the next 24 hours. So stay safe when it comes to the conversations that are probably going to be circulating during this very intense time after hearing about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And, he passed away. And this is why I really think it's important when it comes to not agreeing with people and, all of this, why it's important for us to stay centered in wanting to continue to put our thoughts towards wanting to see people change versus wanting to force them to change, and the energetics, and not just the energetics of yourself looking at that, but what that influences, how your energy does influence someone else's decision making or how they're looking at something. And especially on formats like this, like on a YouTube channel, there is responsibility there on how you're making people feel. Are you putting them in a fight or flight feeling? Are you trying to make someone feel very welcomed and seen and encouraging that for them? These things I think really do matter, because I'm seeing a lot of content creators on many different streaming services really amplifying this hate. And it is easier to feel hate than it is compassion or empathy. These things take a lot more to feel and a lot more conscious effort to feel those things, because sometimes we don't want to feel it. We don't want to feel compassion towards somebody that makes us really upset and that makes us, really angry about what they're saying or what they're doing, right? And it takes a lot to not just hate and want to have that person feel what you're feeling. It's very difficult to do. And I'm seeing a lot of content creators currently not being responsible when it comes to that. And I pray that starts to change, because you don't know who's watching you. Yeah, sure, there's like 40 people in here. But I want to make sure those 40 people leave not feeling any type of more nightmares, right? It really goes back to the nightmares. I don't want people to feel any more nightmares. I want to encourage a dream, or the dream, or your personal dream, or our collective dream, or whatever it is, versus having you leave and feel even more disappointed in the world and more angry or sad when it comes to the world, because it's just so easy, especially now with everything that is happening, to just feel so defeated and angry and sad and outraged, and all those feelings are so valid. But how are we showing up for one another through that and encouraging one another to feel like they have community to move through those feelings in a way that they can at least somewhat see creating a better world that's different than this one, and making it feel possible versus impossible. And so anyways, so take care of yourself in the next 24 hours while you're on social media. And yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for being here. And I guess tomorrow we'll see if this interview is coming out tomorrow, but stay tuned for us watching this Adam McIntyre and Kat Tenbarge hotel video, because it is it's definitely alarming. So have a good night. Take care of yourself. And I will see you all tomorrow. Okay. Bye, everyone.